All right, welcome everyone. It is a special edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast, Sunday, December 17th. I am your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel, Santa Marcel. Got the ugly Christmas sweater on. I don't have mine with me right now. I'm on vacation, but I left it at home. I did get one though for this Christmas. It's got like a big what's it called, like a reindeer on the front of it. I'll try to put it on the next time we do the Christmas episode or something. But yeah, no, it's awesome. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. By the way, where you are is probably a little bit too warm to get in a Christmas sweater, not?
Yeah, the weather's been it's been okay. I mean, it's obviously warmer than Canada, but it hasn't been like the greatest weather, to be honest with you. You know what sucks though? Like today actually it was a really good day. It's been a really good day, and we had a trip booked for like a catamaran to go see some dolphins and eat some lobster, and they canceled the trip this morning. So I went to bed after the card at I could barely stay up last night. That main event was so fucking boring, dude. I'll be honest, it was.
I'm so happy you said that.
It was, and I mean, I got my pick right on Edwards' decision, but man, I could barely keep my eyes open in that main event. And then we got up at 6 o'clock basically to go on this trip, and we get there and the guy's not there, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And they canceled it. So it is what it is. Went back to the room, slept a bit. Now I'm here talking to you. Been watching a little bit of football. Went on the beach. Just been eating, been drinking. But yeah, anyways, glad to have you here, Marcel. Glad we're able to do a show. So we'll do the recap today, guys, UFC 296, and then a little short one after, just going over some fight announcements, because Dana did actually announce a lot of fights last night, and I ended up watching the press conference this morning. I think you stayed up all night watching it, right? Dana's presser?
I was, how do you say that, writing article, the recap on the website, and then I see out of nowhere people saying like, Kevin Holland, MVP, Ian Gary, Jeff Neal, Gilbert Burns, Jack Della Maddalena, Sangya Dongpri, Piotr Jan for $299. I was like, what the hell? That was already pretty stacked card. I was like, what the hell is happening? And then I saw Dana saying, and it's like, oh my God, more work, dude. So we have more work now.
The interesting thing though is because they made so many announcements with like big name fighters, you can kind of piece together who's going to be on 300. That's kind of what I'm looking at now, right? Like it's interesting, right? Because like they've announced so many fights for 297, 298, 299, and then 300. You'd imagine. I still think it's going to be Conor or Chandler. I'd imagine in the main event, right? Like, have you heard anything by the way about that?
I know one fight for 300, but
you do?
Like, I can't say, but you have to connect the dots together. There's one guy. I just give you a hint. There's one guy who was supposed to be fighting in Toronto, but he's likely fighting in 300.
He's supposed to. Oh, it's either Alexandre Rakic or Jan Blachowicz, one of those guys. Probably Rakic, right? Can't say anything.
You see me smile. If I smile, it's okay.
Marcel can't get in trouble because he'll lose his sources, right? Dana won't give you tickets to the UFC. No, just joking. Let's get some comments though. Raw Festival, what's up, brother? Glad to have you here, man. True, what's up, man? Glad to have you here. Zach, what's up, brother? Good to have you here. Growing the mustache out. A new look for me, Marcel. I don't have my razor here, so I got to shave the rest, but trying a new look out. It's gonna be a new me in 2024. This year's been fucking horrible for me. Let's be honest. It's been a fucked up year. As you guys know, I've had a lot of personal issues this year. But hey, man, but the power of the stash, next year's gonna be better. But we did end up with a kind of a good note. We ended last night with that card. At least that was a good thing. I think it's good. Rakajiri. Marcel's the man. By the way, what's up, Antoine? Hope you're doing well, brother. I saw that a lot of people went on Colby last night. I guess just because they thought the wrestling, but my God, he didn't even shoot a takedown for the first 2 rounds. I don't think he shot a takedown, right? It was weird.
Third round. Yeah.
Bizarre. Yeah, and then he got it, and he couldn't hold control. It was just a bizarre fight. All right, I say we get into it, Marcel. We'll get into UFC 296 recap. Let's start with, overall, I mean, what do you think of the card? I'll ask you that first. What do you think of it overall?
I felt like the prelims were better than the main card. That's how I a little bit felt. I think that was more spectacular in my opinion. The main card was okay. I think the Emmett knockout was amazing. I think Pantoja Royval was a fun fight. I didn't like the main event. I also Paddy against Ferguson was a pretty bad fight, I think, and Rachmanov against Thompson was clash of styles. You saw what they wanted to do, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree with that. I ended up. I was watching it mostly on my laptop, but they did actually play they had the prelims in the bar. My dad was there. He was with me, and he was texting me saying, "Hey, I'm in the bar right now. Some guy just got knocked out?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it was Ryan Kelleher who got fucking killed." That was a good knockout too. I mean, and you know what? I understand it's their business, and Dana knows more about business than me, but I just thought with the last card of the year, they give out extra money for all the finishes. I know they gave a one extra bonus, but Marcel, they made $9.5 million on the gate last night. They could have given out, all those guys in the prelims. So you think you probably agree with me on that, right?
Plus, Dana said that the prelims were amazing. He said it in the presser. So yeah.
That's exactly what he wants, and then he, doesn't pay it off. But it's okay. They know they know the deal. Anyways, get some other comments. Antoine, what's up, brother? Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that very much. Yeah, the prelims were amazing. The main event and the co-main event. Co-main event was better, but the main event to me, let's get into it. Mm-hmm. I got my pick right. I did pretty well in my picks last night. By the way, we got to give ourselves some credit here. We did hit a consensus dog last night with Ariel Lipsky, and what was the other one? I had Menefield too. He was plus 200, and that was one that a lot of people didn't pick, obviously. So definitely proud about that pick. I think that was a great pick. But yeah, Lipsky was an awesome underdog pick for the consensus dog of the week, Marcel. I feel like we're pretty good with those, man. Honestly, whenever me and you sniff a dog, we always
have one.
Yeah, there's usually one, right? Like I think there's been a few cards where we couldn't really decide on one together, but that was the one we like Durden too, and Durden looked terrible. I don't know what I think Tagir is it Tagir or Tagir? I thought it was always Tagir, and I think it's Tagir now. So
I always say Tagir, but I don't know. I'm just saying how I say it, but I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I think I've been saying it wrong the whole time. So Tagir's he was unbelievable. I think he's a little bit underrated. Is this true? Boudet and Gaziev, they're doing a podcast together? Is this guy joking? That's funny, Daniel. We'll talk about that in a second. All right, let's just get into it, though. I mean, like I said, overall, pretty good night for me anyways. And main event, I aced it, right? Edwards by decision. Yeah, he's the better fighter. I thought he won the first 4 rounds pretty clearly. He lost the 5th round. Didn't matter. He was so far up on the scorecards. There was really no way you could have given that fight to Colby. And Colby's just so delusional at the press conference saying he thought he won the fight. I don't really understand it, Marcel. I don't know how he thought that. I thought Colby looked like shit. It was his worst performance in the UFC, I think, except for maybe the Alves fight, which was 10 years ago maybe. He looked like shit, Marcel. He looked terrible in this fight. Edwards looked good. He looked really good, but it wasn't anything spectacular. I was struggling to stay awake, and I don't think I'm the only one. Go ahead.
I had to laugh when his coach said in his corner, "Listen, Colby, you got to do something now because you're not the champion. They're not going to give you the decision here." So it's like you're kind of sugarcoating it, man. Just say like you're losing the fight, But they kind of sugarcoated to it, like they didn't want to say like you lose, yeah. Yeah, man. I know a lot of people really like the fight because of the, how do you say that, the dominance they say in Edwards. Man, I thought it was kind of a horrible fight, man. The one after 3 minutes, I knew Edwards was going to win by decision. After 3 minutes, there was nothing going. Edwards had a little bit of pressure on Colby. Colby didn't let anything go until the 3rd round. He tried to take down Edwards, prevented from. I think he took Edwards down twice, but he couldn't hold him down. Also, Edwards took him down. Yeah, I mean, I expected so much more from Colby, that's pretty much it, and with Edwards, I think Edwards didn't have to be on his A game to beat Colby, and that's a crazy thing, I was thinking if Edwards beats Colby, he has to be on his A game, but he didn't need it to, yeah, it was just a bad title fight. I kind of sad because I think 2023 had some amazing fights, and we're going out on a pretty shitty fight, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, good title win for Edwards. What next for him? I still think he should fight Bilal Muhammad, although he says he don't want it. Listen, man, if you ask me, I'm more of a fan of Shafkat. I have nothing against Bilal. I'm more a fan of Shafkat, but Bilal deserves it, I think they should give him that title fight. And, yeah, we'll see what's up next, But this fight, yeah, I wouldn't want to watch it again, to be honest,
No, I agree. I don't know. I didn't think it was that great of a fight. Yeah, it was just one of these ones that just kind of dragged on. But for me, it's really I think Edwards he did enough to win, but it wasn't he didn't blow anyone away. But I just think it was Colby just what a horrible performance. Again, really didn't wrestle until you said the 3rd round. And even when he did wrestle, didn't have a lot of success with it. Edwards was able to reverse him, get on top at times too. Edwards, like they both had 2 takedowns, which is crazy. I don't think anyone would have expected that. Just not a great fight. I'm with you though. I think Edwards and he should fight Bilal. Bilal deserves it. I mean, I'm not the biggest Bilal fan, but he obviously deserves it. He's done enough with the Burns win, with the win over Sean Brady. I think that's enough. And then obviously he did fight Edwards. It was an eye poke that ended that fight. So for me, it's fine. Colby, I heard him at the presser. Marcel, he wants to fight Wonder Boy. I think I'm okay with that fight if that's what they want to do, because it is 2 veterans that lost. Are you okay with that one, or?
I mean, yeah, why not? I feel like both guys are not going to go close to a title shot anymore, to be really honest, and if they vote for it, I don't think Thompson really wants that fight, like Thompson said, like he wants more like entertaining fights. He took the Shavkat fight, I think, pretty much because he still got paid for the fight against Pereira, which he didn't took because Pereira missed weight. But I think if we see Thompson fight, it's more like probably a stand-up, a kickboxing guy. We'll see him fight. And I mean, why not? If you don't want to fight for a title anymore, if you don't have that urge anymore to fight for a title or being close, I'm cool with that. But with that said, like I said, with Poirier as well, if you feel that way, don't close up the rankings. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you feel that way, don't close up the rankings. If you really don't have that aspiration anymore to fight for a title, if you still have that aspiration, you should stay in the rankings. But you should have taken difficult fights as well. But we cannot say anything about Thompson. He took the Rachmanov fight, and I think he looked decent in the beginning. Until Rachmanov kept him on the. I'm already way too far in the card, but yeah. They can make that fight if they both want it, but I don't see Thompson taking that fight, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this fight makes sense too. Colby and Shavkat. I think it makes sense, and I think Shavkat wins that fight. To be honest, someone said it to me yesterday. I think it was Keith Schillen from Sherdog. He just said, I think Shavkat would be favored over everyone in this division. I think he's right. Edwards might be favored over Shavkat, but Shavkat will be favored over, I think, everyone else, including Bilal, including Colby. So a couple of comments. Antoine says the speed and forward pressure. Yeah, and absolutely. And just the layoff, too. I think the layoff, he talked about it, too. There's no doubt. He was out for almost 2 years. It's a long time, and it's crazy. They kept John Anik, I love him, but he's just like, he's 35 years old now. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm 35. Am I washed up, too? Because, he just looked bad. But I do think the layoff hurt him. But again, I think it was the bad game plan, too. Just a really bad game plan. Bad performance. Definitely. Bad performance. Go ahead.
Isn't it crazy when we started to watching the sport? All these guys were older than us, and right now when I'm watching, all these guys are 10 years younger.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. I'm completely with you. It's absolutely wild. It's like, wow, you feel like an old fuck when you watch it. Dan says he's unsure if Bilal could touch. Did he say that really? I think Bilal deserves it. Really?
Yeah, he said in the presser does Bilal? Yeah, we don't know.
Then they might give it to Shavkat then, right? I guess that would be the other option.
Yeah, I think Alex asked, can Shavkat leapfrog Bilal because he's undefeated and he's all finishes. Dana was like, yeah, we don't know yet, but it's possible.
They might. I think Bilal deserves it, but we'll see. I would imagine that UFC 300 will get the fight, right? Wouldn't you think it would get Edwards and the timeline matches up, right?
Yeah, it does. But I mean, I wouldn't put Edwards Bilal on the UFC 300, to be really honest, man. I mean, that Edwards Shavkat, I still think that he should fight Bilal, And as much as I like Shavkat, I think Bilal deserves it, man. You cannot deny the guy, you know what I mean? And the thing is, a lot of people always comment yeah, but we don't like Bilal. Listen, guys, we're more of a purist kind of guy than we're I should talk for myself. I'm more of a purist kind of guy than I'm the, how do you say that? The spectacle kind of guy. You know what I mean? I like the spectacle, but purist is more, the sportive perspective is more important to me, and Bilal deserves it, in my opinion. Whatever you think about him, if you think he's boring or whatever, it doesn't matter. He deserves it. He got the wins over Luque. He got the wins over Burns, and people say, yeah, Burns was injured. Yeah, so was Bilal. So, I mean, and that doesn't matter in the fight, in my opinion, if you win the fight, because you're in the fight. Just like it didn't matter to me that TJ Dillashaw got injured in the fight before the fight against Sterling. That's up to him, if he takes that fight. So, yeah, Bilal should be next. 300. Listen, man, he's going to put together a crazy card for 300, Dana says. Let's see, man. Maybe they put on 4 title fights. Would you be surprised? I would.
No, I was just about to say that. I think it'll be at least 3. I mean, maybe 4. I think it could, maybe 5. It could be 5, possibly. I mean, doubt it, but that would be crazy. Wouldn't that be great? I doubt it though. The more I think about it, actually, it'll probably be 3. It'll probably be 3. Yeah.
The thing is, they have already trouble with putting title fights on each pay-per-view sometimes. Because the timeline doesn't how do you say that, doesn't come together. But, yeah.
I'm just kind of thinking like 1 sec. I'm just trying to think like who it could be. I'd imagine. Okay, I'm looking at the rankings right now. Okay, so I think he said Pantoja is going to fight on some Brazil card, so that wouldn't be him. Mali has 299, Volkanovski 298. Islam, I don't know if the timeline matches up with the Ramadan thing. I don't know for sure, but that would make a lot of sense to put Islam on the card. I think Alex Pereira probably fights at UFC 300, right? That makes sense, right?
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Pereira versus Hill, or maybe Ankalaev if he wins. And then I'd imagine it'll be one of the women's fights. Probably Jan and Zhang, right? That would make sense too, right?
Yeah, I was thinking they probably put that on the O'Malley Farah card, but it's so stacked now. They probably not going to do that.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know what's the delay with that fight. It's kind of weird. So those 2 fights, I would imagine, Marcel, and then maybe welterweight, right? So it'd be either lightweight or welterweight, light heavyweight, and then the women's strawweight title, I think.
Adam, weird question. Raquel Pennington and Myra Bueno were supposed to be on the seasonal presser, and they weren't. Do you think that they didn't put them on the seasonal presser because of Sean with how do you say that, the anti-lesbian lesbians and that kind of stuff? I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, they're both lesbians.
So yeah, exactly. That's why I was thinking about it. I don't know.
I don't know either. Like, that fight's in Toronto next month. It's actually not a bad fight, to be honest with you. I think it's a decent fight. It's just not one that like fans are going to go and go crazy over. Unlike Drakus and Sean, which, by the way, that fight in the crowd was fucking awesome. And I forgot about Aspinall. It could be Aspinall too. I just completely forgot about him being a champ. And then you get some other comments. Hey Patrick, what's up, brother? He says, had someone trying to tell me last night Colby was never a good fighter, found myself defending Covington. Yeah, no, he's definitely a good fighter. He still is a pretty good fighter. I just think, he had a horrible performance. I really think so. It was terrible. He was so flat. I saw someone tweet like Donald Trump, like kind of didn't even care. Donald Trump's like, Colby was never my friend. So like he didn't care too much.
People were like, Donald Trump walked out of the arena during Colby's speech. I was like, he pretty much probably how do you say that, the people who were with him, they probably told him like, we have to go now, what I mean?
Secret Service exactly. Actually, I don't know if he'd still be with them. It's just security. He's not the president anymore. JP, what's up, man? He says Colby's corner was worth it in Ferguson's. It actually was. Like, no change in the game plan. Bizarre. Just awful. I don't know, man. It was weird. What's up, Pato? Yeah, I mean, I think Bilal's still going to get it, but it definitely leaves the door open to Shavkat. Bilal would have to fight Michael Morales. Michael Morales is a pretty good fighter, but he's still, I would say a couple wins away from the title conversation. Do 2 podcasts today. We're going to do this fight, this card, I should say, and then we'll do some fights after. We'll do like the 299 fights and stuff. Leon hasn't fought anyone under 35 in his last 6 fights. If he fights Bilal, it's next to 10-7. That's interesting, but at the same time, all the top guys are 35 plus, so it makes me feel better anyways, Marcel. We're still in our prime here. Sean's crazy. He's a little bit unhinged. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there's no doubt, but I'm not gonna lie, Marcel. Like the whole thing with Drakus, like it gets me even more pumped for the fight. I mean, I'm fucking pumped already. Like I'm excited for it, man. That fight's gonna be fucking amazing. All right. I think we're good. We're good with the main event. We're good. I think. Yeah.
I think
Shavkat's under 35 for sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think our talk about the main event of 10 minutes was more entertaining than the main event. So
I think so too. Let's go to the co-main event. Alexandre Pantoja defeats Brandon Royval in the rematch by decision. I want to give a shout out to my boy Art, Mr. Electrocute on Twitter. He is a friend of mine. He lives in Toronto, and we've been talking about UFC for years on Twitter. He's a better, I should say, and he hit an amazing same game parlay last night for $82,000. So I got to give him some props. He bet like 400 to win 82,000. It was Royval has more strikes. but Pantoja wins and he wins by decision. So I think that's a fucking amazing bet. I was shocked at how crazy the odds were. I don't know if Art's going to hear this, but gotta give him a shout out, man, because that's amazing. He's a nice guy too, so I'm happy for him.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So, anyways, Pantoja wins. Pretty good fight, not the best either. I think, Marcel, to be honest with you, I kind of feel like these last two fights kind of sucked the wind out of the rest of the. I don't know. Do you think so, or what do you think?
It was an okay fight. I don't think it was something amazing. You saw, I think Brandon Royval. I think Pantoja started really well. Also on the feet, but at a certain moment, Pantoja, it was kind of gassed. And you saw Royval getting better shots to him, but his ground game is just better. His ground game was better, and that's I'm not going to say it saved him, but it gave him an advantage over him. You know what I mean? And that he could implement that ground game like the whole fight. One judge gave it 49-46, other two gave it 50-45. It was just a clean win for Pantoja. Maybe Royval came a little bit back in the later round, in the fifth round, but good win for Pantoja, man. And pretty much he had it more difficult with Royval than I expected, to be honest. I no disrespect to Royval there, but I was thinking that Pantoja might get him out of there, with a submission, but that was not happening. So good for Pantoja. Got a lot of options next, I think. And for Royval, I don't think it does any damage to him, to be really honest, man. He went 5 hard rounds with champion, and he did his best, but he was just not better.
Yeah, what's next for him? Do you think Amir? Amir's fighting Kai Kara-France. Is that fight happening?
Amir is fighting Brandon Moreno, co-main event the next.
My bad. Sorry, I don't know why I confused those. Yes, that's the next fight, and it's a good fight. I gotta be honest, Moreno's good, but I'm tired of seeing him fight for the belt. Let's get some new guys in there.
Dana got asked on the presser front, is that the number one contender fight? And he's like, I don't know. And then the journalist is like, but it's a 5 round, or it's Moreno against Albazi. Do you it might be, I don't know. So it's like,
Not in the middle.
It's either that one, or maybe if Cap gets a good performance against Mateus Nicolau, it's possible in January. You got Perez against Mokaev in March. I think it will be either the winner of Albazi Moreno or Cap if he gets a good win over Nicolau. One of those ones. And Kai Kara is not fighting right now, so I don't know.
No, fair enough. Get some other comments. Are you going to see DEP spank Sean live in Canada? Damn right I am. I'm kind of leaning towards Drakus to win the fight. I think he's just more emotionally stable at the moment too, but Sean's a great fiiter too. So
I feel like if Drakus can hit him in the first round, it might be over soon. You know what I mean? But with Strickland, if he can survive the first round, second round, I think he probably has an advantage, man. Because we know he looked better, Drakus, against Robert Whittaker. But still, I think Strickland has a great cardio, So I think the longer the fight takes, the more Strickland has a chance. But I'm also leaning towards Drakus, man.
Yeah. That's my lean right now. But again, we still got a month left. I feel you, Adam. Just think the challengers didn't have much for the champions. Yeah, I agree with that. Surprised with Marcus Cora Batter's takedown defense was. Yeah, that was the thing I looked at. I think it was 39% heading into the fight. Now you have to imagine it's even worse. Let me take a look. 40%. Maybe I'm wrong. Wait, how many takedown attempts did Pantoja have? 8 or 14. Maybe it was a little bit higher than that. I think it actually was like 56%, but now it's 40, so I was wrong about that. But let's see here. Who will main event Saudi Islam?
Non-title fight.
Yeah, non-title fight. Do you guys think Brandon's the biggest star of the flyweight division?
Most recognizable guy, definitely.
For sure. All right, I think we're good with that fight. Let's go to the next one here. Shavkat defeats Stephen Thompson, rear naked choke. Shavkat 17-0, 17 finishes. Nothing else to be said. He's amazing. 18. So, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's actually 18-0 now, I think. What can you say, man? 100% finish rate. All finishes. The first guy to submit Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Other guys couldn't do it. He did it. I thought he already had him, man, halfway the second round, but Thompson somehow came out of it. And then in the dying seconds of the second round, he got the choke. What can we say about Shavkat? He was a big favorite going into this fight. I thought it was a little bit too big of a favorite, but hey, man, he submitted him, so we can't say anything about it. Yeah, what's next for the dude? I think there could be maybe they do him versus Bilal. Who knows? I don't know what. Maybe Edwards takes some time off. I have no idea. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can do. I don't know if Usman comes back to welterweight or if he wants to stay at middleweight. I have no idea. Otherwise, that would be probably a good fight. But he's at the top echelon, like you guys always say, of the division. So yeah,
for sure. Let's see here. 1 sec. Yeah, no, I agree. He's good though. There's no doubt.
You better agree with me. Just kidding.
I do. Shavkat's a beast, though. I think we all know that, right? Like he's a monster. I do think he probably beats a lot of the guys. Edwards, is a good fighter though. It's an interesting fight. I think if they fight, because the takedown defense is very good, the grappling's very good, the striking's very good. But other than that, I think Shavkat's favored over everyone. Don't you agree?
Yeah, the problem with Edwards I have is that he is good overall, but he's not special in anything. You know what I mean? He's like really, his basics are really good, but he's not. You have specialists who are like, this guy has that one punch knockout power, that guy has that crazy ground game. Edwards doesn't have anything like that. He's just like he's really basic, and that's not disrespectful. He's really basic, but his basics are really good. You know what I mean? He's really complete. Yeah.
Paddy Pimblett defeats Tony Ferguson by decision. Not a great fight. Paddy did drop Tony in the first round. Kind of just out wrestled him though. Tony, obviously still very tough. Legendary toughness, really, with 7 straight losses. Like I can't imagine UFC is going to keep him around anymore. And this was a clear setup fight, Marcel, for Paddy to get a win over a guy that has a name, but also is on the way out. I think Paddy should have finished this fight, to be honest with you. I don't feel like my thoughts on Paddy changed. I think he's a decent fighter, nothing like champion level, I don't think. But anything for you on this fight? Like Tony just looked bad. And again, like I just don't understand really like I get it. David Goggins, he's a big name in cardio fitness and everything, and he's a good motivational guy, but like just he's not an MMA coach. Like I don't really understand it. Give me your thoughts.
Man, I had to laugh what Paddy said afterwards. He's like, no, Tony should decide himself if he retires. I agree with that, by the way. But he's like, but he can still win against maybe the lesser guys like Mark Madsen and Drakkar Klose. I was like, dude, Drakkar Klose probably gives you a run for your money. You know what I mean? So if Paddy fights Drakkar Klose, I'm likely leading Drakkar Klose. You know what I mean? So it's like my opinion also didn't change about Paddy. He's a decent fighter, but he's not top 15 ready. I'd love to see him fight in the top 15 next, because then finally we see how good he really is, But I mean, they're probably going to give him some other veteran or somebody who they think he can beat. So yeah,
he's 5-0 on the UFC, I think, and he's also 28 years old. He's turning 29 in January. It's time for him to fight someone better. Like he has how many fights? 24 fights. Like he's not a rookie. For Tony, I saw some people saying maybe bare knuckle fighting. It's sad, but maybe it makes sense. I could easily see that happen. Marcel, sad as it is. Let's get some other comments, guys. Shavkat stud. When was the last time you heard? When was the first time you heard about him? I think probably when he made his debut. Although I do know he beat Young Park, I think earlier in his career. But I think probably made his debut. Maybe you knew about him, Marcel, before he came to UFC.
Shavkat, yeah, definitely, man. I've seen him fight in M1 Global, what's then M1 Challenge, So yeah, I knew about him. Yeah, but did I think he would do this great in the UFC? I had no idea, man. Yeah. I was like, so no, I did expect him to do well, but this great like he does now, I don't think you can really like. How do you say that? How do you say that you can really like see the future? You had another guy like Alexei Kunchenko who was really good in M1 Challenge. M1 Global was undefeated, but he didn't.
He fought Gilbert Burns. I remember that guy. Yeah, I thought he was going to be good, but he was a little bit older too. He's I think he's almost 40 probably.
Yeah.
No spoilers. Who would you pick? Edwards, Rakhmonov right now? Probably Shavkat. I think he would be favored over everyone else. What do you think? Is that crazy to think?
No, I would pick Shavkat as well because I think he's a real challenge, man, for Edwards. And I'm still like, Edwards is good, but I'm still not convinced that he is like amazing good. You know what I mean? Like he's not in that Volkanovski spot at featherweight, or like an Islam at lightweight for me. You know, or who else do we have? Dominant champion. You know, that's not how I feel about Edwards still. You know, and maybe that's up to me, but that's how I feel.
Fair. All right, couple other comments. Glenn bought happy access for the other Glenn. Appreciate it, man. You too.
You too,
man. Yeah, you too, Antoine. I think Paddy looked more focused. Yeah, I mean, he definitely had a good performance. It's just, again, he beat Tony, and I don't know how big of a win that really is at this point. Paddy, Jim Miller, that does kind of make sense. I think Jim Miller 100% is fighting at UFC 300. 100%, right?
Yeah, I saw Adam Catterall ask that to Dana White. He said Jim Miller has to be on UFC 300, and Dana said, "Okay, done. If he's how do you say that, healthy, he's done for UFC 300." And he proposed Paddy or Ferguson, you know, the winner of that fight. But man, then we're giving Paddy another guy who's like a veteran and who he can beat. You know what I mean? I don't want that. You know, give him somebody really up in the ranking if you guys think he's that good. You know what I mean? So I don't want to see Paddy beat all these these legendary guys or these veterans. You know, listen, man, you're 28. Show the fuck, fight real contenders. You know what I mean? I feel like you feel the same way. You know, so
yeah, no, I do for sure. Okay, let's get some other comments here. Toy looked solid. Some aspects of the striking. No, he didn't look good at all, man. Let's be honest. Come on. He looked terrible. Like he's just not, he doesn't have it anymore. He gets teed off on. Paddy's gonna get brutally KO'd. I agree with this though. I mean, I thought the same thing when he fought Luigi Vendramini. He got tagged up a bit. He did knock out Luigi, but you know, I think he fights someone good. Like the UFC's been very careful with the matchmaking with Paddy. There's no doubt about it. Tony that fought Paddy's coming in the better version than the one that showed against Green coming up to UI. True. Maybe, but again, he's still there might be someone Tony could be at like the bottom end of the roster, you know, maybe like for instance, like if you fought Clay Guida, like maybe he could win that fight, maybe. But even that one, I think Clay probably takes him down, wrestles him, right? So even that fight's tough. Maybe there's some rookie from contender that's not very good. There probably is that he could beat, but I don't know, man. Bartier wasn't booked. That would be the fight. Yeah, I bet Leon over Shaka. I think Leon is the odds out for that fight. Let me think. Let me check. I mean, I'd imagine they're out, right? Probably. Let me see what the odds are. Shavkat. Oh, they're not out yet. Okay. They'll probably come out soon, I would imagine. I think you'll see. Actually, let me check. Actually, no, they're not out. Checking best fight odds. I don't see them. Yeah, that's interesting. I think Shavkat will be slightly favored. Crazy enough, even though he's not the champ. All right, let's go to the next fight, Marcel. Opening up the main card, Josh Emmett. I think maybe the knockout of the year. This was fucking unbelievable, right? Like just wow. I mean, Bryce was completely knocked unconscious, twitching on the canvas. Scary fucking knockout. Josh Emmett brutally knocks out Paddy Pimblett. CC0. Although, what's his name? Buffer doesn't say that nickname when he comes out, but it says it on his UFC stats. Mm-hmm. He needed this win though. He really did, because I think a lot of us thought, okay, he's done after that last couple fights, right? Especially that fight with Tapuri. We got the fucking shit kicked out of him. But bro, he can crack. I mean, Josh Emmett can crack, and he's got so many knockouts now in the UFC, like brutal knockouts, like the one over Ricardo Lamas, or I should say it's Ricardo. He's not Brazilian. I don't know why I said Ricardo. Mirsad Bektic, and then the one over what's his name, Michael Johnson. That was a big one too. But I think this was his best one. Yeah, it was actually, crazy enough, his first knockout in almost 5 years. I can't believe that. But well-deserved bonus. And it keeps Josh kind of in the hunt at 145. It's kind of one of those wins that, hey, maybe he's not done like we thought, because if you do look at it, he lost to Yair and he lost to Tapuria, 2 of the top 5 guys. So Josh is still really good. I'm curious to see who they match him up with next. I still think a rematch with Calvin Kattar makes sense. He doesn't want to fight Giga Chikadze. He doesn't want to take that fight. The other fight that would be a good one would be Max, right? Wouldn't that be a good fight?
I don't know if that would be a good fight, man. I mean,
no.
No, I think Max is still world class, and I don't think Josh Emmett is world class. I think he's great, but he's not world class, you know.
Who's Max going to fight other than like Justin Gaethje? Like, really, that's the only fight, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, just make it. Why not? You know. Yeah. I mean, Josh Emmett did great. You know, nothing but respect. You know, great win. amazing knockout for me. I have him second place this year. That one. So it's.
What was first place?
I have Bonfim against McKinney first place. I think.
Mm-hmm. I think this one took my first place. I think it was just such a brutal fucking knockout.
What do you have?
I think this one.
No, before this one. Which one do you have?
I don't know. Let me go check Tapology best knockouts. Let me take a look. There was another one that the one that you said was obviously a really good one.
Dustin against Justin, maybe.
That was probably it. Yeah, it was that one, and also Roman Kopylov on that same card against that Brazilian guy.
Oh yeah,
Claudio Ribeiro.
Yeah, Claudio Ribeiro.
Insane too. Yeah, those two on the same card. And I'm just looking at some other ones. Yeah, it wasn't actually the best year for knockouts, to be honest. Oh, I'm looking at some other ones here. There were some good ones, but those ones actually, we obviously forgot about Pereira and Izzy.
Adesanya.
Yeah, so there's some good ones, but I think for me it was the ones I mentioned. Also, Miguel Torres and Nicolas Mata was a really good one too. I thought. I think we named a lot of the good ones. But yeah, there were some good knockouts this year. Derek Lewis versus Rogerio de Lima was a good one too. That was a really good one too. The flying knee.
You said Miguel Torres, but it's not
Manuel
Torres. Yeah.
My bad. But yeah, no. Let's get some other comments. Sorry guys, let me see here. There's a lot of comments here. How would you feel if we got to say this dude Bilal? How would you feel? Bilal deserves it. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Let's see. I need Tony versus Jesse Butler. Jesse Butler's not UFC caliber. I'd fade Patty against Jim, but it might just be me. That's a fight he probably should win at this point in his career. God picked Emmett to win. Josh Fairplay. It was an amazing knockout. At least Bryce has gotten this out. You guys are funny. What does Emmett's nickname mean? We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, I think, on the podcast, and we still don't know what it means. I still don't fucking know what it means. Bryce is reconsidering the shape of the earth after that KO. That's a pretty good one. You guys are fucking jokes. Yeah, the Lewis switch knees right up there. Yeah, it has to be the Lewis one, I think. And looking at Tapology, it's like ranked number 25. To me, that should be in the top 5, right? That one.
I think it's not that high because it was not like a one hit knockout,
Yeah,
it was following up punches.
The fact he did it and then taking his pants off and just swinging it around after, like, guy's a joker. All right, let's go to the next fight. We had the prelims. My dog pick of the night, Marcel here, plus 200 dog. Alonzo Menefield defeats Dustin Jacoby. The power of Menefield cracked Jacoby in the third round, dropped him, and that basically won him the fight. It was a close fight. But he got the job done. So happy for Alonzo. I've always liked him. He's an underrated guy, I think. Let's see what his record is in the UFC now. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-4. So pretty good record. Has some good wins. Huge win for him here over Jacoby, who's obviously a really good striker. But Dustin, Marcel, he's lost 3 of his last 4. I kind of feel like he's on a little bit of a decline. He's getting dropped down in his fights too, right? Which is not good. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I feel bad for Dustin in a way because that fight with Khalil Roundtree, the judges fucked him, and his career's kind of went downhill since then. It's kind of crazy. So, but either way, Alonzo, Marcel, he's looking good. Any thoughts on this one?
Well done by Alonso. I think he lost the first round. He came back in the second one, and he won the first round, I think, and Jacoby won the second, and Menefield won the third. I think it was like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well done by him, but I still not feel like he's going to be like top level, but he's very good and he has power, man. And yeah, it was kind of a gamble, I was like, if Jacoby can get it to a decision, he might edge out 2 rounds, and he was on his way until Menefield cracked him in the third round again, and he took over, and good win for Menefield, deserved win. So yeah.
Appreciate it, John. Yeah, it was a good dog pick for sure. Let's go to the next fight. Fight of the night. Clearly fight of the night. Irene Aldana defeats Carol Hossa via unanimous decision. I had Irene winning 2-1. Carol came out guns a-blazing. The strike stats actually have Carol winning all 3 rounds, according to the stats. But again, you have to watch the fight. And I know she landed a lot of kicks. And kicks, they definitely matter. There's no doubt. She had 95 leg kicks landed. That's insane. But all the head damage that Irene did with the boxing, that to me outweighed the kicks. And I thought the judges I think they nailed it on the head here with giving the win to Irene. I'm so glad they won the bonus. I saw that picture of them in the hospital. I love those pictures when you have a war and you got the 2 fighters in the hospital. this was an amazing fight, really. I mean, it was one of the best fights of the year, right? This has to be top 10 fight of the year. It was a fucking war. Arena looked great, man. I mean, considering how bad she looked in her last fight, it's a good bounce back. But again, she had a fighter here in Carol who doesn't shoot takedowns. It's a stand-up fight. So it's a fight that she should have won, and she got the job done. So it keeps her still in the top 10, I think, for sure, top 5, Arena. But, yeah, great fight. I don't really think Carol's stock drops. I think her stock goes up in the loss, right? Is that you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's one of those fights. What do you think, man? It was a good fight, right?
Oh, it was definitely a good fight. I didn't expect this at all, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking like this probably like a typical decision one. This one, and this was not a typical decision. I might think this may be my fight of the year, man, and maybe that's recency bias, but
I don't think so. I think it's right up there, man. I really don't think you're crazy by saying that. I think it was one of the best women's fights of all time. I think, and I think so, because it kind of reminded me of like, what was that fight? Alexis Davis and Sarah Kaufman. I think the one from Strikeforce. Do you remember that fight? Their faces are all bloody and shit. Yeah,
I thought you were going to say Rose against Carla too. So.
Oh, come on. No, but that's the fight it reminded me of a little bit. I'm just looking at the stats for that fight because I think that was a fucking war. That fight had 139, 135 significant strikes. So, like, yeah, these girls landed even more. This was just anytime you're landing over 200 significant strikes, that's pretty amazing. So the output was incredible. Again, I don't think their stocks drop or Hostess stock drops in the loss. It goes up. One of those fights that her stock goes up. Most of these fighters like Bryce Mitchell's stock's way down now. Jacoby stock's down. Colby's stock's way down. Royval's stock is probably a little bit down. Ferguson's stock's down. Thompson stock's down, and then you have Hossa, and her stock went up in a loss. So it's one of those fights where there's no real loser, and they both got a $50K bonus, well deserved. Arena's hard as well. She has to check the case. I agree. Aldana Pudilova was a war. That's true. That was a good fight too. Aldana's had. Let me check how many bonuses she won. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She won 5 bonuses, including 3 fight of the nights. So I've always liked Arena, man. She's a fucking warrior. You gotta love her. Do you think Arena can creep her way back to the title picture? Yes, absolutely, because it's a new champion now, right? And she's still right there. She's top 5, right? So she's right there. Cody Garbrandt Marcel gets back in the win column here, or I should say he gets back in the knockout column. He won his last fight over Trevor Jones, but it was a boring fight. I never thought here it's probably going to be a boring fight. Or a lot of people, I can't remember. Did you pick him or her? I can't remember. Did you pick him?
No, I picked Cody. By the way, I see a tweet here. Let me read this tweet. So Laura Sanko tweeted, Rachmanov and his coach Henry Hoof revealed to me he tore his ankle 6 weeks ago and was considering pulling from the fight. He was unable to kick and had to adjust his strategy as a result.
Shavkat Rachmanov. Remember that when Laura did that interview?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, man, this guy, Shavkat Rachmanov. Yeah, she likes him.
Yeah, and now she is like, please, did you saw that Instagram post to the Kazakhstan? She's like, please, just like my profile, but please stop commenting so much because my Instagram is heating up or whatever,
That's funny.
Yeah, I think we both picked Garbrandt, man, to win.
We know we did. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people actually did pick Keller as a dog here. I saw it kind of a trendy pick just because people are fading Cody's chin. Cody, again, though, just the better fighter. Kelleher is 37, 38, 37. 3 straight losses for Brian. He stock is down too. I think he potentially could be cut. I think it's possible. That division's so stacked that you lose 3 straight fights. It's tough to stay around. They'll probably give him one more because I think everyone likes Brian Keller. He's a company guy. He's always taking every fight they've given him. So he probably gets one more, but he has to win his next fight, I would imagine. But for Cody, big win for him, Marcel. Obviously still not, back in the, contender spot by any means, but he's still a former champion. He's still a guy that, he's a big name, so this was a big win for him, a big knockout. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 knockouts in the UFC. So that's pretty fucking impressive. Our consensus dog of the night, Ariane Lipsky, defeats Casey O'Neill by submission. We both picked her here, Marcel, plus 150 dog. Happy to pick her here. She looked phenomenal once again. I mean, you talk about someone whose stock is going up. It's Ariane Lipsky. She's getting better every fight. 3 straight wins now for her. And for me, really, it was that JJ Aldrich fight where she just looked amazing. I was shocked. Remember, I was shocked when she won that fight.
We were both like, "This is our safest pick."
I remember. Yeah, I was really surprised because at that point she had lost 3 or 4, and now she's won 3 straight, won 4 or 5. So she's definitely improving. She's still pretty young, which is great. She's 29. She's turning 30 next year, but
she's getting in the rankings for the first time.
I didn't realize that guy was her husband. That guy's her coach.
Yeah.
That guy's got to be. He's in his 40s, right? So I mean, good for him, man. Because I think Ariane Marcel, to me, she's one of the best looking fighters. Like
I agree
in the UFC, and I think she's very marketable. I think this is the kind of win she needed because she had fought a lot of like fight night cards. Not many people are seeing her fight, and then she goes on this pay per view and gets this big win. This is the kind of win I think that get her a big fight her next fight out. I'd imagine she'll get someone ranked in the top 10, right? And probably, I think they said they're going to do a card in Brazil, right? So main card for that, maybe the third fight from the top or something like that. Definitely main card. Or they could save her for like a pay-per-view. I think that's possible too. But another pay-per-view, put her on like the televised prelims. I just think she's marketable, Marcel. You agree, right?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of these girls who are looking good, they're like, oh, look at me, I'm here. But Ariane Lipski is like really down to earth, and she's really nice as well. Yeah, and she's not like she doesn't come across like kind of arrogant or whatever. She comes across like really likable and really really cool, So I wish her nothing but the best. She did well, man. She did really good. I think. She didn't give O'Neal any chance, and yeah.
And Casey, her stock's down again. She hasn't looked very good lately, Marcel.
No. Since the injury.
She has been, dealing with injuries. But again, she's marketable too. They're going to give her a few more fights. There's no doubt about that. Let's get some other comments here. Adam, did you plan your vacation to Cuba with the agencies by yourself? No, by yourself. But it's like through like Air Canada, I guess. It's like it's just like basically like they fly you there. There's like a bus to the hotel kind of thing. A lot of other people from Toronto were here, so it's cool. It's been cool, but no, not through an agency, just through like the booking thing. I got it on Black Friday. It was a pretty good deal. Let's get a couple of comments. I also think Shevchenko Grasso too. Yeah, that was a great fight, no doubt. Even though it was a draw for sure. Jamie, what's up, brother? I think they should do Patty D versus Poirier UFC 300. No way. I mean, maybe, but no. Lipski looks really good. No, she does. I've always liked her since KSW, Marcel. I know you too, right? She fought Daniela Belbitsa at KSW, right?
That's Coliseum event. Yeah.
Yeah, no one talks about that fight, like, because Diana's, she's in the UFC now, but she's kind of like at the bottom end of the roster, whereas Ariane's like, I mean, this is a big win. Like, was she ranked heading? I forgot. Was she ranked before this fight or no?
Oh, Lipski.
No, she wasn't, eh?
No, I just said she's the first time she will come in the ranking.
Yeah, no, for sure. For some reason, I thought she was like 15 because Joanne Wood is 15. What the hell? That's weird. Ariane's going to be 12. I mean, she'll be behind that. That's the thing, though. Like, if she fights like Natalia Silva or something, that's a hard fight, Even like a Tracy, these are hard fights. These are the kind of fights she's going to have to take now, though. So we'll see what happens. A couple other comments. Joe, what's up, brother? Glad to have you here, man. Ariane should model and become an actress after MMA. Well, I don't know about an actress. I don't know how her acting is, but the modeling for sure, no doubt. But I mean, she won't. I think she does have OnlyFans, doesn't she? I think she does.
Yeah, but I think it's an athlete page. I think.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, she doesn't have the good pictures on there. I don't blame her. Her husband wouldn't like.
Yeah,
that.
Of course. Yeah.
Virna is the hottest MMA fighter, women's MMA fighter. Yeah. Not sure I agree with that one, but what do you guys think fight of the year was? Marcel thinks it's Aldana and Hossa, and I don't really blame him. Let me check here. Again, I have to like do the research before I like think about it. Let me check Topology. Makhachev and Volkanovski's number one on here. I mean, yeah, I think so, right? I would think.
Yeah, it's also good
because it's so high level. They have Pantoja and Moreno too. Really, that was a good fight. I was there for that card, but I'm surprised that's there. Barboza Yusuf was a good fight too. There were some pretty good fights, but I don't know. You know, it was a good one actually. Number 13, Cody Gibson versus Brad Katona. That fight was
a great fight.
Fucking great. I like those kind of fights where the guys dig deep and go to war. Evloev versus Lopez was a good fight too.
Vergara against Lacerda.
That was there. That's up there too. I'm looking at right now. There's some good fights there. There's Jimmy Crute Menefield. That was a really good fight too. There's been some good fights. There's no doubt about it. Oh, Trevor Peak, Chepe Mariscal. That was a good fight.
Yeah.
That didn't win fight of the night somehow. I don't know how. Yeah, there's been some good fights, man. There's been some Bellato and Pateria last week was actually a good fight too. That was a good one. Got Guram and Brenner. That's another one. I agree with that. Let's get some other comments. What do you do with Casey? You have to rebuild her, right? Because she's still pretty young. I think she's in her mid-20s. You got to rebuild her. She's marketable. She's marketable. I can't read that last comment, but I can't blame him for saying that. By the way, I'm pretty sure her boyfriend's in a Bellator fight, or the Bellator doesn't exist. That Ty Guerrero guy.
Ty Guerrero, yeah.
But where's he going to go? PFL? I mean, we'll see.
Ty Guerrero was I think Ty Guerrero was first with Jessica Rose Clark, and now it's with
That's
Casey.
Right. Yeah, I think so. So good for him. Told my friend who's a newer fan about Lipsky was prospect came to the UFC, he was shocked. I mean, she was, and she just had a tough go. I mean, remember when she got pounded out by Antonina? That was just such a bad look, and you're like, fuck, she's terrible. Even Montana De La Rosa, like these aren't fighters that finish fights by knockout, and they destroyed them.
Didn't she also lose? Go ahead. Did she also lose to Molly McCann?
I think so. Yeah, Priscilla. Was it McCann? Yeah, she lost to McCann. Wood. Yeah. She had some bad. Like she was at one point 2-4. So she's really turned it around. You got to be happy for her because again, she's cool. Like what's his name? James has interviewed her a few times. She seems really cool. So she's a good fighter, man. Again, we're all talking about her here. I mean, like this is her first bonus. Was it her first bonus at UFC?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, she won. Oh, yeah. When she second. Yeah, the knee bar. Because that was another fight. I did pick her in that fight. Remember that one? I thought she was going to knock Carolina out. She submitted her with a knee bar. So that was on Fight Island. Tagir Ulanbekov defeats Cody Durden by submission. He looked amazing too. I know a lot of people were saying, he kept sticking his toes in the cage and stuff. I understand. I get it. But like I kind of feel like this was such a great performance. I kind of feel like he could have got a bonus too. Anyways, he looked great. What do you think, man?
I don't blame him for sticking the toes in the cage, but I blame Chris Tognoni for the 6,000.
I mean, that's you've been talking about this guy for years and nothing gets done. No one listens to you.
But the dude is an idiot, He's like he said 6 times to him, get the toes out of the cage, do something about it, man. After the second, third time, he's like, okay, come off neutral position. Fuck it, if you don't listen. But he doesn't do shit about it. Then just shut the fuck up. Overall, great fight. Very well done by Ulanbekov. I was like, when he knocked him down in the first round, I was like, okay, it's over, But Cody has that dog in him, and he keeps coming. And that's the great thing with Cody Durden. He always keeps coming, but it was too much, man, in the second round. Good one for Tagir Ulanbekov. Might be his best performance, maybe alongside with the mainest fight for him in the UFC, man.
No, I agree. By the way, Brittany Palmer retired. Did Ariane retire too? Did Dana say that? Is that what he said?
No, I don't know. I only know Brittany.
Okay, I know Brittany did, which is too bad. I mean, end of an era. How many warnings you get? I don't know, Joe. I guess with Chris Tognoni, you get as many as you want. Andre Fili, another performance that I think kind of got a bonus. Amazing knockout for Andre Fili. This is my worst pick of the night. I picked Lucas Almeida, terrible pick. I don't think this guy's really UFC caliber. Now that I think about it, Marcel, I don't think he's gonna stick around for long.
It's actually crazy because we're pretty high on him. Remember when he came? But for me, he got exposed, man, in that Sabatini fight, man.
Really? You did talk about that. I should have listened to you on this one. Yeah. But it gets destroyed, and then you got to feel good for Fili because guy that he's been around for. I remember he talked about it. He's like, oh, Joe, this last time I talked to you was when he fought Jeremy Larson. He knocked him out in his debut 10 years ago on the Kane Dos Santos 3 card. That's pretty amazing. That was that long ago. I mean, you gotta fucking love Andre Fili, Touchy Fili, like still one of the best nicknames of all time, and a guy that I've always liked, but just a guy who's so inconsistent. But gets the win here, Marcel, and again, I think he said like his dog died and someone else in his family passed away. It was just a tough week for him, but gets the win here. You got to feel good for Touchy, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. He's been a guy who's been a long time around. He's like win, loss, and he was due to a win this time. Man, that shot he placed on Almeida, that was very hard, very loud. Dang. Good win for him, man, and I'm happy for him. Let's see what's next for him. I feel like he's not really consistent with his wins, but he's entertaining to watch. Good win.
Yeah. 1 sec.
It's like I'm listening to an ASMR video.
Yeah, no. I've just sent a message about something. Okay. Was that the last? Oh, there's one more fight. Yeah. Did you pick Budai too? I think we both did. We both.
Yeah, and we both sucked.
This was a terrible pick too because my God, I was so wrong about Shamil. He looked fucking amazing in this fight, Marcel.
Yeah,
and he got a bonus. I'm happy he got a bonus. I think he deserved it. Don't you think?
Yeah. Definitely, man. I mean,
Boudet
was like
so good. Holy shit.
He was like number 16 in the rankings because he was ranked number 15 before it happened, before the fight got done. And yeah, man. But I think Gaziev looked great. I'm happy for the dude.
Yeah, no, me too. He was definitely looking really good. I think that's it really. Overall, like, what would you give the car a 10? What do you think?
7, 6.5, 7. Nah, 7.
I think the prelims were so good, but the main card was okay. It was just okay because I think the high point was the MMA knockout, right? I think that was the high point, and then it kind of went down from there a little bit. I would say 7.5, 8, maybe an 8, just because I think the prelims were so good, so many knockouts. You had 5 straight knockouts, not 5 straight finishes. You had 5, 6, 7 finishes on the card, and 5 decisions. So yeah, overall amazing card. These guys are saying 6, 6, 7. You know what? 7.5. That's my pick. Because again, I really like these prelims. I was pumped for them. Go ahead.
Listen, guys, Adam is on vacation, so you get an extra point. He's on the vacation. He's in the happy spirit, so he gets a little bit more than us. But
yeah. No, for sure. Buddy was just knocking at the door, but I'm not getting up. I don't want to go. I think they're bringing something. I don't want to get up though. All right. So, anyways, that's it for UFC 296 recap, guys. Glad you guys joined us today for the recap. Went for about an hour today, which is awesome. We're gonna do a really short podcast here, Marcel, breaking down the new fights because there was a lot of them. We're gonna go for 15 minutes, Marcel. You want to do like that?
Yeah, max 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Let's do that. So appreciate it, guys. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Really appreciate it, guys. We'll talk to you guys soon. So I think, again, we're going to do the short podcast right now. As far as this week, next weekend goes, we'll have to tweet it out. I'm not sure yet, Marcel. We have to talk about it. I wouldn't mind doing something short, but if we take a week off, that's possible. I just hate taking weeks off. You know what I mean? I hate doing it. So
I think it's Christmas Eve next weekend, and it's Christmas Day next day. So I'm probably not next week.
For sure, I might do a short one just by myself, just to recap the news and stuff. But I think Marcel deserves a week off. So, anyways, really short podcast here, guys. In about 2 minutes, we'll tweet it out. Appreciate you guys joining. Peace.